So we're back on Humbabe. This is episode 4 as we go over the AL Central today. And,
Yes, sir.
So I'm Sam,
I'm Alex.
and let's start with the news of the week. So what happened this week, Alex?
News of the week. Before we talk about the news of the week, we gotta talk about the Super Bowl.
Oh, of
That was a
course.
good game.
How could I forget?
That was a good game. What do you think?
Well,
That was a great game.
I think it was kind of a bad holding call at the end of the game. It was a very good game.
Yeah, I agree.
But we both called it. We got the Chiefs winning.
Never
That's what happened.
bet against Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I thought that holding call was kind of a
I'm
deflating
shocked.
end to an amazing game.
I mean, it was kind of a sad ending to that game, but I'm shocked Pat's ankle held up. The way it was looking at the end of the first half,
Yeah,
I don't know what they put in him, but he somehow gutted out the second half, and that's why he's Pat Mahomes. That's why he's just that guy, going to be dominant, going to be one of the best quarterbacks for the remainder of his career.
all time. Maybe. We'll see. Bro, I'm surprised Jalen Hurts played as well as he did. That formation they run on third and fourth and short is OP. You can't stop that.
Well, they ran the QB sneak 5 times.
Yeah, they ran that rugby formation. That was cool. You can't stop that. You saw Chris Jones try to jump over and it still didn't work. Yeah, that was a great game. Deflating call to end the game, but I mean,
Would have been sick. We didn't
not-
see the overtime rules one time in the
that's not the
postseason
reason why.
overtime rules. I would have liked to see it, but it's all right.
Yeah, we'll see it next year
probably see it
probably. Okay. So news of the week. The big news. Christian Javier extended by the Astros, 5 years, $64 million. It's gonna buy out 2 years of his free agency at $21.4 million a year. So what do you think?
Well, he's nasty. I like the extension, and I don't think they overpaid. I think it's totally fine. The Astros need him locking down the rotation for years to come. Most memorable, probably in his career, is the no-hitter he threw. Well, 2 of them.
Combined.
The no-hitter he threw at Yankee Stadium, and also no-hitter, obviously in the
Both
World
combined.
Series, combined no-hitter.
Yeah.
But he's electric. When he's on, he's on. And he's commanding the zone. He's running that 2-seamer, 4-seamer. He's sharp. He doesn't throw particularly hard. He doesn't throw 198. He's 94, and that's fine, and it works. And he's still getting it by guys. So good for him, and I like to see it.
Yeah, obviously a breakout year last year, 3.4 F4, 2.54 ERA. His peripherals are good as well. 3.14 Sierra. He's a fly ball pitcher. He had a 56% fly ball rate last season. So the way he pitches, top of the zone, he beats hitters with his top of the zone fastball. Not too hard, but it's very it blows by you. It feels like 100, but it's only 94, 95. A lot of people peg him as a dark horse Cy Young candidate. I don't really see it. I don't know if he'll ever get the volume to be. I don't know if he'll ever get the volume to be a Cy Young winner. And also, I feel like he's due for some home run regression. I feel like with the amount of fly balls he gives and pitching in Minute Maid Park with that Crawford box, he's gonna give him more home runs this year. But obviously, he's still a really good pitcher. So yeah, solid deal.
Very, very good. I think that it's worth the deal, but again, he's definitely not a Cy Young pitcher to me. I think last year is probably near the best of his ability for a season. I don't think he's much better this year. I think he's around the same, maybe a little worse, but that's still a solid pit. I don't think he's ever gonna be an ace, but that's fine. You don't need everyone to be an ace. You just need people to lock down the rotation.
Yeah, if he wants to take the next step, he has to prove to me that he can pitch effectively through third time through the order. Because the Astros were very careful with him once it was third time through the order. So second biggest news of the week: a swap between the A's and Marlins. AJ Puck going to the Marlins in exchange for outfielder JJ Bleday. What do you think, Sam? I know
Well,
you
we've
like
seen a lot of
Blade.
these. I like Blade. We've seen a lot of these Marlins swaps, a lot of Marlins trades. Biggest one was the Arise one for Pablo Lopez, but they also did Richard Blyer um,
Matt
for
Barnes.
Matt Barnes, and now we get Blade for Puck. And the Marlins are confusing me, man. I don't really like the deal personally. I know Puck is he's good. He's a good reliever. He's big 6'7" lefty. He throws hard, 97 plus, 75th percentile in K rate, 83rd in exit velo again. So he had a good season last year, you know. But
Really good
relievers are very
season.
up and down in how they pitch. He should be good, but his potential is capped because he's a reliever. Whereas Blade, I just think he's got a lot of potential. You know, he didn't have a good year last year at all. The numbers were pretty poor, but it's just his first season. You got to give him a chance. I feel like he's good power potential, and I feel like the Marlins need Blade more than they need AJ Puck at this point. I think Blade's got to get a chance to prove himself, and I think he actually will prove himself.
So I disagree with you here. Blade, when he was first drafted, was an immediate top 20 prospect, but he's never really had good numbers in the minors. He's always struck out too much, low average, low OPS. He always had pop, he walks a decent amount, but I don't know. He feels like a big disappointment to me. If you look at his numbers at Vandy, they were insane. Like Vandy's like a powerhouse, and for him to like regress the way he did in the minors is just like alarming to me. It continued when he was called up. Like he was not good at all in the majors last year. He's poor defender, poor contact rate, strikes out too much. You're basically buying low on his stock and hope that he can bring it back up to his Vandy days. Which I mean, there's a large enough sample size, in my opinion, that he won't. He's not that guy.
Sure, I mean the concern is real, but I just think the prospect potential. I think he was fourth overall. I think that's just
Yeah,
just for one major league season to judge him by, to give him up for reliever. I know he's got some nasty stuff. He's a good reliever, but I just feel like you're giving up too much potential there, and especially from the Marlins, you need offensive support. The Marlins aren't competing this year. You know, they'll be they're not going to compete for a playoff spot this year. I think let him progress. If he has another bad season, another half of a bad season, yeah, then maybe you're like, all right, we pulled the plug on this. It didn't work out. Draft pick didn't work out. I think it's too early. I think you got to let it play out. Marlins aren't good enough anyway.
yeah. Puck really good season last year. 3.12 ERA, 3.15 Sierra. He's another former top prospect. He was supposed to be like the next ace of Oakland, but injuries and inconsistency, it just didn't work out for him as a starter. So it's good to see him as a reliever. Obviously relievers, like you said, are like a fickle bunch. They're very up and down. So honestly, I like the Marlins trading for Puck here. I don't think Blade is worth anything, to be honest. So yeah, that's my opinion on that.
All right, and the also noticeably today, pitchers and catchers report. So we're gearing up. We're almost in spring
We're very
training.
close.
Season's around the
We're
corner.
very close. Also, Yu Darvish got extended earlier this
Mm.
week. I mean, he's Yu Darvish. It's a long deal, but I mean, like you ensured that he was not going to be a free agent next year, and as a Padres who's going to be contending for the next couple of years, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Do you want to introduce our guest, Sam, for the week?
I will
Last week
introduce our
was
guest. So
last week was Humbabe. No, not Humbabe.
Boom Boom
Justin
Birdland.
from Boom Boom Birdland podcast. This week it's who, Sam?
This week we have Brady Collins, DePaul University student, but more importantly, Pipehouse representative. Absolutely going crazy. White Sox fan, and he's going to tell us why the White Sox should be looked out for this year. So, Brady, anything else you want to add on yourself?
I'm just a diehard White Sox fan. That's about it. That's what I gotta say right now.
Um,
All right. Who would like to start for the White Sox?
Brady, you want to tell us
Yeah, I
about
can
the White
start.
Sox this year?
So this year, last year was a bit of a disappointment to say the least.
Very disappointing.
This year I think there's a lot of potential, especially with a new manager, Pedro Grifol, and also the addition of Andrew Benintendi in the offseason. I think he adds a lot of what we need this year, as we missed a lot of like lefty hitters in the lineup, and it's really good to have one in the lineup now. So let's look at my notes. I have my notes right here. This is like my projected lineup. I think we got at number 1 we got Tim Anderson at the leadoff spot, and 2 we got Andrew Benintendi, 3 Luis Robert, 4 Eloy Jimenez, and a 5 Andrew Vaughn, who was really good last year. I think he can really improve this year even more. 6 Yohan Moncada. I really hope he bounces back from last year. The past 2 years have been really disappointing from him. 7 Yasmani Grandal, same thing. He was disappointing last year. 8 I have the rookie Oscar Colas. I really believe in him. He has really good pop in minors. I think he'll probably be opening day starter for us. And at 9 I have Romy Gonzalez or Larry Garcia. For that.
Yo, I was gonna plug you. You didn't have to hold up your sign.
Yeah. No, you always I gotta do double, bro.
All right. Well, I mean, I understand. It was definitely a down season last year for the White Sox, 81 and 81. But I don't think they're bouncing back. I think they lost a lot when they lost Jose Abreu, and I don't think Benintendi's making up for that offensive production. They weren't really outstanding production-wise last year. Offensively, Abreu's putting up 378 on base, 446 slug, and that was in a down year. He's normally even better than that. They were 22nd in home runs last year. I think they got to be better than that. I know you like Tim Anderson, but he's really a below-average player at this point in his career, I think. Maybe not below average. He's not. I don't think he's very good. I just think he's maybe league average. They were kind of, as a whole, they were kind of in the middle of the pack offensively, or below middle of the pack, 18th to 24th in almost every offensive category. Moncada was not good at all. 353 slug. I don't think he bounces back. I think it's kind of done for him. So I'm concerned. I know the injuries were really a problem. They had Robert and Jimenez. I think Jimenez is really good. So they're going to get, if they stay healthy, it'll be good with them. Jimenez slugged 500 while he was healthy last year. And those are the 2 best players. They got to rely heavily on them. But it's not going to be enough, I think. I have concerns with some of the pitching, so I'll let Alex, what you got?
So White Sox were the definition of mid last year, 81-81. And they really didn't make any offseason moves to, improve. They lost Abreu. I guess you could say he's offset by Benintendi, but Benintendi at this point in his career is no pop at all. He'll be high average, high OPB, but he'll offer no extra base hits. And his defense at left field, it's average. I wouldn't say it's elite, it's average. And then you also added Mike Clevenger, who I don't even know if he's gonna play, the wife beater. Can't add a guy like that to your clubhouse.
You already had trouble before. The Guardians dumped him off after the COVID thing.
Yeah. You can't. I mean, the White Sox are. They're relying a lot on bounce back years. Grandal, he was one of the worst players in baseball last year. Terrible. Andrew Vaughn, he moves into his natural position at first base. So we'll see how he does. You can't have Luis Garcia playing every day. Definitely not. But you're also in your lineup, you're relying on 2 rookies, Gonzalez and Colas. And Robert, I love him as an MVP pick, but he has injury concerns. I mean, you're just betting on a lot of bounce back years. I don't know if that's going to happen. And as for the pitching, Cease, second in Cy Young voting last year. Giolito definitely will bounce back, but like Lance Lynn regressed last year. Michael Kopech wasn't that great as a starter. It's not much to like here, in my opinion. Also, Liam Hendricks has cancer, so hopefully, prayers up to Liam Hendricks. But yeah, I don't know if he's going to be healthy to start the year.
I don't know how they're going to make up for the loss of Mike Wright Jr. in that bullpen. No, but seriously, Cease is terrific, but he's got walk problems. I mean, Cease is fantastic. He's an ace. Got walk problems. Kopech, if he puts it together, he's very good, but he's walk problems. And then after those 1-2 who have some difficulties, it's not. I don't think it's very good. I think Lynn. He's already 30. He's 35 years old now. He's extremely fastball heavy. Over 50% of his pitches were four seam. Over 75% were just fastballs of any category. He's too predictable. I think he likes the mentality of attacking his own with fastballs, but it's just not a plus pitch, and he's getting hit hard. The innings are going down. The quality of contact against was not very good. And then Giolito, you said he's a bounce back candidate, but I don't even see it. He wasn't very good last year.
He'll
The
bounce
velo's gone
back. He
down
has
in the
good
past 3
peripherals. He has good.
seasons.
He
The
has good
changeup was hit
peripherals.
much
Really
harder
good.
last year. So I mean, changeup
It
was his plus
was.
pitch when he was good a few years ago. Not anymore. So I have trouble with Giolito. You know, Clevenger is probably not going to play. So who's the fifth starter? There's questions there. And then now the bullpen. You know, Hendricks isn't going to play. There's questions for sure. So
Can I rebut here?
for sure, I'd love to hear you rebut.
All right. So with the home run issues, we fired our hitting coach last offseason. He was god awful to say the least. So I think the power numbers will go up a lot more because we'll be adapting to more of the modern hitting approach rather than what's his name's Tony La Russa's approach, the old headways. So I feel like we're gonna be hitting a lot more homers this year. And the thing with Giolito, in the offseason he's been retooling his mechanics. He's not short arming the ball anymore. He's going to like a middle arm slot release now. So I think he'll improve a lot this year. He's been working really hard this offseason. Now as for the fifth starter, with the questions with Mike Clevenger, I think we might move Ronaldo Lopez back into a starting spot into the fifth starter. Last year he looked really good as in the bullpen. So I think he can move back to the starting spot in 5 and we'll do fine for now.
I mean, I don't see it. It seems just like I don't think it's that good. Honestly, I probably have them worse than last year, to be honest. Like Benintendi's your big off-season move. I mean, I know your owners cheat, but like you could have gotten other pieces to improve your roster besides Benintendi. He's just like an average player at this point. And Abreu was your best offensive player last season. You lost him. So I don't know how this team's gonna get better.
I also think Colas outproduces what's his name? AJ Pollock's production from last year because he was trash. But
That's not saying much though.
yeah, no, he definitely will. Defensively and offensively. Because he was a non-factor.
Sam, any last words before we thank Brady and move
No.
on to the next team?
No, I agree with you. I think the White Sox are going to be worse this year than last year.
Do you want a record
And
prediction or no?
Yes,
we can
of
hear your
course.
prediction, but we'll
Okay,
hold ours.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
I
for
wanna hear
floor,
yours.
my floor, I have us going 93 and 69.
That's
the floor. That's the minimum. The bare minimum. All right. That's on a ceiling. I think we're going 117-45, breaking the record for most wins this season. So yeah, and then for that to happen, obviously, I think Luis Robert will win MVP. Obviously, he's a 5-tool player if he stays
Well,
healthy.
I think in order for that to happen, they'll have to re-sign Mike Wright Jr. before the season starts, and I think they'll have to do a little more than that. You know,
I think Jake Diekman breaks out. I think at like age 40, I think he'll break out with the bullpen.
never know.
All right, thank you
All
guys.
right.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
you
you.
coming on.
Thank you, bro.
House
It's nice
forever,
meeting
man.
you.
Nice meeting you guys.
All right. Sam, what team do you want to talk about next?
So should we go to the? Are we doing this in alphabetical order?
Yeah. All right. Let's go Guardians.
Right.
You go first, though.
All right. So the Guardians, you know, last year, 92 and 70, pretty good season. You know, we're definitely competitive in the postseason with the Yankees. It was a fun series to watch. But like you said,
Yeah.
overperformed. So it's pretty much the same team as last year. They added Zunino and they added Josh Bell, so good. They didn't really lose much at all. So you know the team starts. I think the strength of the team is the bullpen, 100%. You know you have Jose Ramirez, of course, but the bullpen is the strong suit of the team. So they're the fifth best bullpen FIP, second best bullpen xFIP, which is 3.47. So if you look at their record, 43 and 19 bullpen record, that's 24 wins over. That's 22 wins more than their starting pitching wins. So that's the formula for their wins. Late game comebacks, holding it down, coming back late in games. That's how you get bullpen wins. Similar to how the Orioles do it, but they did it probably even better. I mean, then of course you're going Class A as the closer. Unbelievable. He's got that cutter, ridiculous. And then you go Karinchak. He's just absolutely wild. He has that mentality on the mound. I love watching him pitch. You know, the crazy hair, the crazy mentality, crazy yelling and screaming. And then a guy that really stepped out last year that maybe isn't getting recognized as he should is Steven, who was ridiculous.
Stephon.
My bad.
Yeah.
2.1 FIP, 97 plus velo, high spin rate guy, 98%, 90th percentile in barrel percentage, 96th percentile in whiff. Just going crazy. And then you also have Eli Morgan and Henches. This bullpen is for real. And that's why it was so good. They had the 6th best ERA as a whole pitching, as starting and pitching combined, 3.47. But then let's go back to the offense and Ramirez. Of course, Jose Ramirez, 355 on base, 514 slug. But he's not it. Doesn't stop with Jose Ramirez. You have other players. Steven Kwan had a great rookie year last season. Oscar Gonzalez. The team is very young. And then you have Ahmed Rosario had a good year. Josh Naylor had a good year. Andres Jimenez was very good. 371 on base, 466 slug, 364 WOBA. But then you're looking outside of that. I know you add Josh Bell, Mike Zunino, fine. It's not very much outside of those core guys, which is a little bit of the concern because overall, they were only 21st in slugging as a team. And they tied 16th in weighted runs created plus at 99, which is below average offensively. And maybe they were a little lucky because they had the second worst exit velo and they had the lowest hard hit percentage at only 33% hard hit. So, it's a little, there are concerns. They have a lot of core pieces that I really like. The bullpen is elite. They have some really good offensive pieces, but there are concerns.
Yeah, I don't see your thought. I mean, where's the power in this team coming from? Ramirez, he's not a true power threat. He hits home runs, but I wouldn't say he's a true power threat. So yeah, I had Josh Bell for that. But Josh Bell, I mean, I think he's he had a really good first half last year, really bad second half second half. So I think his true talent is somewhere in the middle. But he's a very inconsistent player.
He's a little
very old school. I mean, I think he's a solid player, but nothing too special. Their offense is very throwback. A lot of singles, doesn't strike out much, stolen bases, and they had a lot of guys step up last year. Jimenez had a breakout year, 6.1 F4 year, 140 WRC plus. Steven Kwan, Rookie of the Year candidate, 4.4 F4. Oscar Gonzalez out of nowhere, 1.6 F4, 122 WRC plus. Obviously, very young team. I think a lot of people expect them to take a step forward. Honestly, I expect them to take a little step backwards, but they're not going to be a bad team. Obviously, I'm looking at this offense. I question if it's good enough. Obviously, Jimenez had a breakout year last year, and same with Oscar Gonzalez and Kwan. I'm confident in Kwan repeating his performance, but Jimenez and Oscar Gonzalez, they gotta prove to me they can do it again. And obviously Josh Bell, he's solid at DH. He'll be solid bat. Me personally, I would have added Michael Brantley instead. And as for the pitching, obviously one of the best bullpens in baseball. You have 6 legitimate relievers: Clase, Karinchak, Stefan, Henches, Morgan, De Los Santos. 5 of them with ERAs under 2 last year. No, not under 2, under 3 last year. And starting pitching, really solid. Beaver, maybe not Cy Young Beaver anymore, but still really good. Mackenzie, Quantrill. I mean, both of them have really good years, but I mean, I know I love my numbers and stuff, but those 2 pitchers do not pass eye test. I don't know how they produce the numbers that they do. And then you have Civilly as your 4 starter and Plesac as your 5th starter. I mean, the rotation's solid, but it definitely won't be as good as last year, in my opinion. So,
well, I agree with your analysis. Like we said, the offense is a bit of a concern. Their second lowest home runs. They were a stolen base team, 3rd stolen base. They'll probably be just as fine because of the increase in stolen bases this season that we'll see. But like you said, I mean, the bullpen is extremely strong, but the starting pitching concerns me a little bit. Bieber, yes. I think, has really taken a step backward since his Cy Young days. He has great command, but he gets knocked around a little bit. He's 15th percentile in average exit velo against, 15th percentile on hard hit, so he's getting knocked around a little bit. And the velo's going down. I have concerns about his future. And then Quantrill, like you said, Quantrill doesn't really pass the eye test. He gets ground balls, he gets fly balls, he forces contact, gets outs. That's what you're supposed to do as a pitcher. But the expected stats don't like him because he's not a strikeout guy. And I have concerns about his how he can repeat performance if he's just getting fly balls. Tristan McKenzie, he gets knocked around too. He doesn't throw hard. He's a weird delivery. Sometimes he's like really good. Sometimes he looks like I'm like, how is this guy a major league pitcher? 10th percentile in average exit velo. He does command the zone. He gets chases, 75th percentile chase rate. But hitters hit 500. Hitters slug 500 on his slider, and they slug 380 on his fastball. So I have concerns there. And then Plesac was terrible. He got drilled. Savale is a great spin rate guy, but he tops 91, and he was a little unlucky last year. He pitched about a run over his xERA, but he's at best he's what he was in 2021, which is
starter.
a 4 or 5 starter.
4 or 5
So this starting rotation could easily take a major step back, in my opinion, and could be the cause of their downfall. If they pitch how they've been pitching in previous years, I think they'll be okay. But the team, everything has to click for this team to have a good year, which is the bullpen I'm not concerned at all about, but the offense has to get going, and the starters have to produce and be how they've been. And so there's question marks around this team, but if everything goes well, I think they'll be just fine.
Like you said, last year everything clicked for them, but this year, they haven't really addressed the offense. Josh Bell is not a difference maker for your offense. In the starting pitching, they're relying on them repeating performances again. I don't know if that's going to happen again. So I'm expecting regression from the Guardians. Maybe not too much, but definitely regression. But that's nothing to be worried about. They have they have a really good farm system. They have guys coming up, especially in the middle infield. So like Tyler Freeman, like Gabriel Arias, like they'll be there. Like Bo Naylor, a catcher. I think him and Zanino are gonna be in a timeshare at catcher. So they have a bright future still. There's something wrong with taking a little step back after the season you had. Yeah.
Who's next? Is that
anything more to say, Sam? Or are we ready to move on to the next team? All right, next team, the Kansas City Royals. Oh boy, I have some things to say. But you go first.
No, I want you start up.
You want to hear me?
Yeah, I want to hear what you got to say.
I'm looking at this projected lineup. Oh my, I can't usually. So I pride myself as knowing a lot of basically every single player in baseball. I don't know who the fuck is starting at second base. Who's Massey? Who's M. Massey?
I saw that today. I was like, I don't know who that is. I'm not even going to try to talk about that guy.
I have no clue who he is. All right. Anyways, who the fuck is that guy? Nicky Lopez. I'm surprised he's not projected as second baseman.
Well, he didn't have a good year at all.
No, but in 2021, Nicky Lopez had a 6 WAR year because he was the best defender in baseball or something. But okay, let's just start with the offense. The Royals. You're gonna get pop from Salvador as always. You're gonna get major production at Pasquantino, one of my favorite players. You're gonna get pop at Melendez. I don't know if he'll take the next step like you predict he will. But the rest of the team, like Bobby Witt, I can't forget about him. Really, he was very average his rookie year, which is fine. He's 21 years old, a shortstop. But he was one of the worst defenders at shortstop last year. He was negative 20 DRS, something like that in that range. Obviously Bobby Witt is so toolsy. He has power. He has 99 percentile speed. So if he breaks out, he can be a superstar. I don't know if he can though. He doesn't walk a lot. He strikes out a lot. His contact rates aren't that great. So a lot of tools, but I don't know if he can put together. But just the rest of the lineup: Kyle Isbell at left field. Drew Waters at center field. Melendez will play right, but projected as of the moment, Fangraphs has Olivares projected as a starter at right field. So it's just not a really good team.
Yeah, I agree. So
It's
outside
terrible.
of those 4 guys, which is Salvador Perez, Pasquantino, CJ Melendez, and then Bobby Witt. Those are the 4 core players on that team. Outside of that, they have no one. The Royals have no one. They're just garbage. Someone I hope to take a step forward, who I think had a good second half last year, was Brady Singer. 3.23 ERA last year. He stepped up. but there's a lot of room for improvement. Below average in quality of contact allowed. So average exit velo against, hard hit, X slug, stuff like that. He wasn't very good. But the sinker slider profile as well. He's a 50% ground ball rate, which I like. And then the bullpen, wasn't good, but they have pieces that I like. They have Jose Cuas, Josh Stalmont, Scott Barlow, Coleman, and then I don't like Chapman, but maybe Chapman
If
can
you're getting about
regain this form.
Aroldis Chapman.
So they have 5 hard throwing pieces in that bullpen that could perform well if they put it together. But I mean, that's not going to be good enough. The rotation is really terrible. So I know they re-signed Greinke, so they have Singer to pair with Greinke. Jordan Lyles will stabilize the rotation. He'll eat innings for them. But then the 4-5 is Bubic and Lynch.
Oh, Yarbrough.
Oh.
Yarbrough. Yeah, Yarbrough.
Oh my God! And
This shit's
come on,
awful.
come on.
Ew.
4.72 ERA last year. Second highest hard hit percentage allowed. I mean, the bullpen gave up an xFIP of 4.42. That was the third worst. So it's not good, And then the offense, we've already said how out of those 4 guys, they have no one. They were 26th in home runs last year. They were 23rd in slugging. It'll be a major struggle bus for this offense and for the pitching. So overall, the whole team will struggle mightily. They have pieces to build around, though, which I like, but it'll be a struggle. So, not high hopes for the Royals.
Yeah, Royals are feeling a bad team next season. I forgot to talk about the pitching before, but Singer, obviously the best pitcher at the moment. 2.9 F4 last year, 3.23 RA, 3.3 xFIP. I love the way he pitches. He attacks the zone, but like his stuff, I mean, you see him pitch. His stuff isn't that great. Like he's a 2-pitch pitcher, sinker in and breaking ball away. And I mean, can he do it again? I don't know. Guys like him with the stuff that he does, he has to prove to me personally, like over multiple seasons, that he can have this kind of like good performance with the stuff he has. Greinke, Greinke's not good anymore. He strikes out no guys. Jordan Lyles, he's gonna take the ball your 5th day. You'll get a good start here and there. Yarbrough, stinky. Daniel Lynch, stinky. Like the relievers, interesting group. Scott Barlow, very underrated. Another good year last year, 2.18 ERA. They added the GOAT, Aroldis Chapman. We'll see. We'll see if he has a renaissance and gets traded at the deadline. They got Amir Garrett. Stalmont throws 100. They got intriguing pieces in the bullpen. Still pretty ass. And as our offense again.
Brooklyn boy, Jose Cuas.
Oh yeah, he's the Grand Central.
Grand Street.
Melvin
Martinez.
But like,
I like to hear that.
I'm
but,
sorry.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but like you're starting Drew Waters, Kyle Isbell, Massey, and Olivares, and Hunter Dozier. Hunter Dozier had a negative. He has negative 1 F4 his past 2 years, and he's supposed to be starting at third base. It's a joke. Joke of a team. They're bad. I don't even want to talk about them anymore. All right, so next team on the list, Detroit Tigers. Another poopy team, but you can go first. Another stinky team.
Yeah, well, the Tigers are in for a rough year. So they lost. They were already very bad last year, but they got worse. So they lost Gregory Soto. They traded him for Matt Vierling. They lost Chafin, a bunch of other guys who don't even matter very much. They Funkhauser, Candelario, Willie Castro, Harold Castro. Also, they lost Spitzbarth, who actually, it's funny, he's a reliever. He pitched. I guess he's from New York. I don't really know, but he was throwing live ABs at parade grounds with Richie Palacios, I believe, which is fun to see. So at parade ground, I like to see that. But they lost. He's not on the Tigers anymore, so won't really matter, by the way. But I just think it's interesting to say. Offensively, this team is probably the worst in baseball. Terrible.
100%. 100%.
Offensive production, last in home runs. But it's not like, maybe they stole bases. No, they're 28th in stolen bases. They're 29th in on base. They're last in slugging. 81 runs created plus last year as a team. Last by far. Eric Haas was the only Tiger to slug over 400, and it's Eric Haas. Come on. Baez is a
Eric
disaster. That dude
Haas.
cannot hit. He has the worst chase rate in the MLB. Jonathan Scope can't hit anymore. 322 slug. Badu, terrible. 269 slug. And that's just the offense. The pitching wasn't much better. 10th worst ERA as a unit last year, 4.04. It's not very good. You've Eduardo Rodriguez is the ace. Can't be your ace. 4.05 ERA. Stuff isn't very good anymore. You can't put away guys, can't strike out guys. He'll probably be even worse this year. Matthew Boyd set to return from injury. Fine, but he won't be very good. Michael Lorenzen, he's your 3. And fine. I mean, that can be a decent 3. But 4.2 ERA last year. He's got a walk problem still. And last year was the best of the past 3 years. He probably has that's the best you're going to see, the 4.2 ERA. It probably won't even be that good this year. But I'll give credit to Michael Lorenzen because he's absolutely jacked. But still, and then you go Matt Manning, not very good. Can't generate swing and miss. Pitch movement isn't very good. And then Spencer Turnbull is returning from injury. So
solid.
and he's solid, but he's returning from injury. You don't know what to expect there. So overall, as a group, very concerned. And then the bullpen was actually good last year. They were 7th best. But they're missing their big pieces. They're missing Soto, who's the closer, and then Chafin, who is very good, and Funkhauser. So you get rid of all 3 of those. I don't know. The bullpen's probably going to suck now. So, I have major concerns. They have 6.6 Ks per 9. That's worse than the league. This team is a disaster, I believe.
Yeah, so this offense, oh my god, this offense is gonna be the worst in baseball by far. You're still playing Miguel Cabrera at DH. Miguel Cabrera had negative 1.5 F4 last year. He offers nothing anymore. He's just there because you're paying him a lot of money. Meadows, Green, Badu. Meadows, solid hitter. Maybe not the hitter he was in 2019.
He was injured, but
it's 2021. He was injured, mental health stuff, but he doesn't have pop anymore. Meadows. He played. He had 147 plate appearances last year, 0 home runs. He doesn't offer any power anymore. Riley Green, the top prospect. He has I would say solid year. As a rookie, not too bad. League average hitter. I still don't see. He doesn't have much pop at all either. He's more of he strikes out a decent amount, but he's very patient hitter, Riley Green, and he's a solid defender out in center field. Badu, I'm not even gonna talk about Badu. He stinks. Javi Baez, he's fun to watch. Electric defender still. 2.0 F4 last year, but Javi Baez, come on. Javi Baez cannot be your best projected, hitter to start the year behind Green or something. Javi Baez swings everything. What a terrible contract. He doesn't walk. And he doesn't even make contact anymore.
Chase rate. He chases everything.
He swings at everything. Jonathan Scope, pretty sure he led the league in OAA last year.
He did.
Ridiculous amount. But man, his offensive numbers, guess what his WRC plus was last year?
80.
57. 57. Oh,
I was being nice to Jonathan.
These numbers are hurting my eyes. And he got Torkelson, former number 1 overall pick, 2020 MLB draft. It was absolute. He was so bad last year, Torkelson, that he needs to be sent back down to AAA. Yeah, he got sent to the minors. Negative 1.0 F4. I mean, I still believe in Torkelson, to be honest, but I definitely was not. I definitely am not high on him. And you got Nick Maton at third. Eric Haas is a catcher. Where are you gonna get offense from? Personally, I would start Vierling in left over Badu. They got Vierling and Maton for Soto. As for pitching, Screwball is gonna probably miss half the year with his injury from last year. Screwball was really good last year. He was pitching like a not an ace, but a very good 2-3. But he's injured. Casey Mize, former number 1 overall pick, I think 2018 MLB draft. He's out for the year. Tommy John. Eduardo Rodriguez. I really like Eduardo Rodriguez as a pitcher. He's not an ace, but he's a solid pitcher. Boyd didn't really pitch much last year. You're betting on him return to form, and even his form, his prime wasn't that good. Matt Manning, their top prospect, he has solid numbers, 3.43 ERA, but like he's not past the eye test at all. He stinks. He won't have a 3.43 ERA again this year. Lorenzen, like Turnbull is good. Last time he pitched, 2021, but like. This starting rotation is bad, and you got the bullpen, the relievers like Alex Lange, their best reliever, probably had a really good year last year. Struck out a lot of people, 3.41 ERA. But this is a bad team. The AL Central is a bad division, and the Royals and the Tigers, the Royals and the Tigers are both like clear examples on how trash this division is. So I'm not high on the Tigers at all. It's going to be another rebuilding year. I know Tiger fans are tired of hearing it, but I mean, your team stinks. I'm sorry, and you don't have any more top prospects anymore. You've run out. They're all busts.
It's a disaster class on how to rebuild. If you're going to look at other teams and say, "Oh, that's a good," they spent the 5 years of terribleness to become good. The Tigers are going to have to do it all again. Then this is a disaster class at work. They have no one. Scooble's probably their best hope. And I like Scooble. He'll miss half the year.
Yeah, Riley Green's probably the best player, but that's not even the same.
That's true. That's actually true. I'm sorry. Riley Green's probably better. But I'm saying from a pitching standpoint, you have Scooble. You're supposed to have Scooble and Mize. It's not turning out to be that way. The injuries are hurting you, but they're not as good as what they were supposed to be.
Especially Mize. Mize is disappointing.
I like Scooble's ability to K guys, but he stays off the barrel. He could build off that, but he's still not going to be like, we'll have to see. The injuries. We'll have to see how good he's really going to be. And then Mize, I don't really have high hopes anymore. He hasn't given me much to be confident about. So I'm
no strikeout stuff.
This team doesn't really. It's not going to be built through free agency. It's going to be built through the draft, and it's going to take a lot more of building through the draft for this team to become good. So I don't like the Tigers this year.
Yeah, we're both pretty unanimous with their thoughts on the Tigers. It's a trash team, and I feel bad for Tigers fans who've had to witness a rebuild for since 2017? So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. This is year 7 now of your rebuild. And it's going to be another couple more years, so we're stuck to be a Tiger fan right now. Okay, last team. It's the Twins. Team I really like. I like a lot. But you could go first, Sam.
You telling me you like them a lot. I don't mind the Twins this year, but I don't love the I think you might be a little higher on the Twins than me. I'll start with what I'm concerned about, which is the starting pitching. And I know they added Pablo Lopez. They were 11th worst starting pitching ERA last year, which is 4.11. And so I am a little concerned, So you're getting Pablo Lopez. So Joe Ryan's going to be the ace. And Joe Ryan, he's fine. I think at his best, his comp is Bieber. But because he's a low velo guy, he works his stuff at the bottom of the zone, But I expect regression. Guys that pitch like that, they have to be so pinpoint in order to be good pitchers. Joe Ryan might have a good year this year, but I don't expect him to be good for very long. By how he's pitched, he's commanding the zone, but he doesn't even have elite command. He has league average command, and the strikeout stuff is good, but I don't think he's good enough to be the guy. And then outside of him, then you're looking at, all right, now Pablo Lopez, you just traded for him. You traded Ozores for him. Ozores I really like. Traded Ozores to get Pablo Lopez. You're like, he has to be the ace. He has to be at least a 2 on this team. But Pablo Lopez is kind of mediocre in my opinion. He eats innings. He's more than innings eater. He's better than an innings eater. But I think he's a little mediocre. He really struggled down the stretch. His quality of contact isn't terrific. And then you're looking, all right, so now Chris Paddock hasn't pitched. He's coming back off the injury. So you still Sonny Gray. I'll go to Sonny Gray first. Elite spin rate guy. I trust, out of anyone on the starting pitching staff, I trust Sonny Gray the most to be Sonny Gray. Just have a consistent year. He's not going to be an ace, but he'll get it done. Movement, I trust him. He has ridiculous slider movement, so he'll be locked in there. But then you're looking at everyone else as kind of a question mark, and then you look at Paddock. He hasn't pitched to his potential. he has a great curveball, but the numbers have always been poor. He's never pitched to his potential, and he's come off injury now. I have concerns about
Paddock's out
Paddock.
for next year, I'm pretty sure.
Paddock's out for
He
next
has,
year.
he has Tommy,
That's my
yeah.
bad. That's my bad.
Pretty sure, yeah, he had Tommy John last year. I'm pretty sure he's not going to pitch this year.
That's my bad. So then you're looking Pablo Lopez.
Maeda.
Yeah, Maeda's coming off the injury, and then Tyler Mahle. So Mahle had a good 2020, 2021. Wasn't as good last year. The X stats show that he was unlucky. But even Tyler Mahle, he's going to be at best a 3-4 in your rotation. So the top end is concerning to me. I don't know if they have enough just ability pitching wise to get it done. I think they'll just be kind of decent, and then offensively, we're looking at the return of injured players. They're injured every year. Buxton is always injured. I mean, he's an elite player when he's healthy, but he's always injured. And then so Correa, fine. Correa's very good too, just like Buxton, very good. But now we're getting the concerns about the ankle. Personally, I'm not extremely concerned, but if two teams passed on Carlos Correa because of his ankle, that concerns me. And then Royce Lewis is a high prospect. I expect stuff from him. But we're looking at the rest of the offense. And, they're the best of the AL Central in terms of offense production, which isn't saying much. They were 10th in on base, 11th in slugging, and that led the AL Central. They had the fourth best exit velo, so they're hitting the ball hard, maybe a little bit unlucky there. And, they have quality players. Buxton, I really like Jose Miranda. But, I don't think they're good enough offensively, good enough to be better than the Guardians offensively, where the pitching is not as good to be. I think they're just kind of mediocre. I like the bullpen, the return. Jorge Lopez, I think, is good. And then you have
Duran.
And then you have Duran. Duran is exceptional. Exceptional. That lockdown of Jorge Lopez and Duran can be elite. But, I don't know if it's enough. And that's my concern. They have very good pieces. I don't know if it's enough.
I'm definitely much higher on the Twins than you are. Starting with the rotation. Lopez, Molly, Ryan, Gray, Maeda. Those are all 5 MLB starters. Lopez, you think is mediocre? I think Pablo Lopez is number 2. And Molly, I think he's, in 2020, 2021, he was definitely number 2 as well. And Joe Ryan, he's solid. Sonny Gray, another solid year last year. And Maeda is solid. They have a starting rotation of 5 really solid pitchers, which is good enough in a division like this. And then relievers, they have a lockdown top 2, Jorge Lopez, who broke out last year, and Duran, one of the best relievers in baseball. I'm pretty sure it throws a splitter at like 97, 98 miles an hour. It's ridiculous. And as for the offense, obviously, Buxton is a superstar, but he is injury prone. But like Buxton, when he plays, he produces like a superstar. And they also added in Michael A. Taylor to help relieve Buxton of his center field duty. So they can, anytime Buxton's the DH, they can put in Michael Taylor, who's also an exceptional defender at center field, if not one of the best. Kepler, really solid player, a lot of pop. He strikes out a lot. I want the Yankees to get him, but I think the Twins are gonna keep him. Like he isn't walk much. He's a low average guy. He's a solid player. They obviously traded Arise, but they have a really good replacement in Miranda, who had a really good season last year. 117 WRC plus, 1.1 F4 Fangraph score. And Correa, a superstar, is short back. Royce Lewis towards ACL. He should get some playing time this year. He was really good in his cameo last year. Kirilloff, another top prospect coming back from injury. And then they added Christian Vasquez at center. He's really underrated in my opinion, Christian Vasquez. He's a league average bat at center, and he's a really good defender. Really good acquisition by the Twins. Definitely the best, actually maybe Perez, but definitely one of the better catchers in the game. And then you added, Joey Gallo left field. Joey Gallo, the resurgence of Joey Gallo. I think Minnesota's a great spot for him to bounce back. Not much pressure. They won't be booing him. He can strike out as much as he wants, and he'll live a happy life. And Polanco at second, just another really solid player. This is a really solid team, in my opinion. The Twins, I'm really high on them actually in this division. I think I'll save the predictions for later, but I mean, you kind of already have a feeling from a pick to win the division, but Twins really good all around. I like this team a lot.
You know, I don't know if I could ever pick a team with Joey Gallo to win their division. You know, that Joey Gallo sucks. Joey Gallo.
He's gonna bounce back. He's gonna bounce back a little
No, I
bit.
don't think he will. I think he's done. I think Joey
You think
Gallo's
he's done?
You know, Christian Vasquez, a catcher, yeah, fine. I actually love it because it gets rid of Gary Sanchez, who I think is one of the worst catchers in baseball. And then, you know, so they made some moves. You know, it's fine. I don't like getting rid of Arise. I just think he's too good to get rid of. And I don't like what they got for him. I don't like getting.
Lopez is good,
they
bro.
got a prospect too, so fine. But I don't think Pablo Lopez is good enough. You know, I mean, I could see this team doing well, but you know, I just kind of think they're mid. You know, I think it's kind of a mid team. I mean, the injury concerns are really real. You know, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm very high on the Twins this year. I like their team a lot. I think they bring back Correa as a must. And
Oh,
they
for
added
sure.
Lopez. Lopez is a very good acquisition when you consider they can replace Arise with Miranda, who had a really good rookie year. I think Kirilov, he's gonna have a nice breakout. He's gonna have a breakout year this year. I mean, they added Vasquez to replace Sanchez. They made upgrades all around the field, and even underrated ones like Michael A. Taylor. He can help. They can help replace Byron Buxton's defense at center field. So Byron Buxton can do most of his work at DH, and he'll still be a very good player. So I think the Twins had a really good offseason. Very underrated one too.
True. I mean, we'll see how it turns out, but you know, I don't know.
All right, we ready to get into AL Central predictions? Let's start from the bottom.
Okay.
All right. So first, I'm going Royals bottom. I think Royals are worse than Tigers.
Are we going back and forth? Or are we?
Oh yeah, you give your pick for bottom.
I don't think the Royals. I think the Tigers are worse. I have the Tigers at fifth.
Okay.
60. I have them 60 and 102.
I don't have records yet,
That's
but
fine.
records will be posted on Instagram. So follow our Instagram, humbabe.pod, right?
That's right. I'm babe.
All right. And you'll get my record predictions there, but you'll get the order now, so not too bad.
I'll save my record predictions, Zach. I'll put them on the pod too. So we'll just get the order.
All right. Fourth, I have Tigers, obviously. Tigers and Royals, two worst team in Central. I mean, you can either flip, like either or, like for fourth and fifth.
I have Royals at fourth. I put Tigers fifth. So yeah.
Okay. Third, I have White Sox. Do you agree?
I agree. White Sox third.
Okay, White Sox. They were mid last year, and they didn't do anything to fix it. So they're gonna be mid again, if not a little bit worse. They lost Abreu. They didn't replace Abreu. They had to replace Abreu. They didn't do that.
I think they're worse than mid, to be quite honest.
Okay. All right. Second, you definitely have Twins, right?
I have Twins. Yeah.
I have Guardians. I think the pitching's going to regress a little bit, and the Guardians didn't do enough to address the offense. So, I mean, you're relying a lot on your starters to produce the years that they had last year, and I don't think that's going to happen. McKenzie and Quantrill are going to step back a little bit, and same with Bieber. Bieber, I mean, I think his quality of stuff has decreased since his Cy Young days. No more sticky stuff.
I agree. Bieber's definitely decreased. But I still, even with Bieber not being as good, even with probably Quantrill and McKenzie probably not pitching as well, I still like the Guardians pitching and their bullpen more than I like the Twins. And I think pitching wins championships, pitching wins games more so than offense. So the Twins have a better offense, but I don't think the Twins will be a better team. I think Twins are second, and then obviously I have the Guardians winning the division. But just overall, I don't think any of these teams are whatever team wins this division will be a wild card team, the third best team out of all the division winners.
Yeah, of course.
This division sucks.
It sucks. But I think Twins are going to win division. I think they have much better offense than every other team in the Central, and I think they have the best starting rotation in the Central as well. But definitely not bullpen. The Guardians definitely have an edge on the bullpen, but Twins have the best rotation in the Central, in my opinion. 5 really good starters. Something you can't say for the Guardians, whose has Savali and Plesac in the rotation still.
Sure.
All right, so are we wrapping it up?
I think that's it. I think we're wrapping up. So I think we went over the AL Central. We'll get our record. We just gave the predictions, but we'll get the records out on Instagram.
Yep.
And then so next week we're going AL West.
Yep.
And we're gonna have we'll get a special guest on, I believe.
Yeah, and we should definitely talk about the World Baseball Classic rosters next week as well. That came out.
So that's it. So.
All right, that was a good episode.
Keep humming, baby. Let's go.
Yes, sir.